Hello friends, my name is Emile and welcome back to another edition of the Hot Lap Classic. This time take a look at the 1998 Volkswagen Golf Mark IV 2.8 V6. This car was requested by Jason Poland, and the Golf is a rather interesting one in this game. There's 4 versions of the Mark IV Golf, and the V5 and V6 models are actually exactly the same car. Like, statistically, everything, they are exactly the same. Upgrade them, they get exactly the same power, exactly the same weight. They are, for whatever reason, I don't know if it's a bug or not, but they are the same car. So what I've decided to do is I'm going to run the V6 with the race mod, and the V5 is going to run without. But even still, V6 statistically not a bad car, 349 horsepower, 1096 kilograms of weight. It is, of course, front engine front wheel drive. There is 3 options for race modifications on this car. I went for the first option and went for red, so I could kind of replicate the Golf rally car that you can unlock in the arcade mode. Anyways, the Golf V6 is going to go to the Motorsports Land track, where it's going to have 6 laps to set the best time it possibly can. Its current target is a Suzuki Cultus Pikes Peak Edition that set a time of 28.209. Golf is very unlikely to get up there, but the Golf could fare rather well around our course. Front-wheel drive cars, especially recently, have seemed to be doing very well, and with this car having 350 horsepower, you know, that is quite a lot, which should give this car really good acceleration. Of course, the issue with the Golf could be weight and understeer, and while it certainly doesn't feel as reactive as that Celica we had last time out, it actually feels pretty nice to drive. It feels a lot more easy to drive than that Celica was. The Celica had really lovely reactive handling on the way in, but you really had to watch it on the way out because it had a lot of sort of lift-off oversteer and of the like. The Golf doesn't seem to bother with as much of that. You can sort of see a little bit of it happening there, but it actually isn't too terrible with that. I don't quite know where we managed to lose a load of time there, because this was going to be a much quicker lap. 31.907 on our first flyer, though. Not a bad one, certainly. That is actually pretty decent. It's about average for cars that go around here, but Golf might be able to do a little bit better than just average. I guess the sort of, similar to the last episode, the sort of biggest target for this car may very well come in the form of cars like the Honda Prelude. That set a time of 31.5. This could potentially sort of get up there if it has the stick. A 31.724 isn't too shabby. Puts it at, I think a 31.6 beats the Dodge Intrepid, which is the most powerful front-wheel drive car in the game. But the Dodge Intrepid actually handled a lot worse than this did. This handles better than the Intrepid. There is no getting around that. The Intrepid actually wasn't a bad car for 500 horsepower for the front wheels, and even its sort of stablemate is sort of another car which is as powerful as it is, the Ford Cougar, which got about 510 horsepower. That also wasn't too bad. Or is the Cougar more I think the Cougar might be more powerful than the Intrepid, because I think the Intrepid's 505 horsepower, the Cougar's 512, I want to say, or something like that. You do have to cut the corners a little bit, just because the turning really isn't great. It is somewhat understeery. It isn't too terrible. It's actually quite nice to drive. It isn't quick though, which is certainly something. You know, 350 horsepower through a Golf, you'd think it'd be a lot quicker than it actually is. You know, the Celica wasn't a quick car in a straight line, but I do actually happen to think that car may have been a little bit quicker in a straight line than this one. This is going to be a much quicker lap time though. Apparently utilising that first gear really helps this car out. Swinging it around the final corner, 30.959 for the Golf. Wow, okay. Admittedly, there was a little bit of a cheeky corner cut in that, but even still, that's impressive. That's a lot more impressive than I was expecting it to be, if I'm being 100% honest. I might have to go back and review that footage and see if that lap is completely legitimate, but yeah, that is, yeah, very, very good. for the Golf. It actually broke into the under 31st second club, which certainly is not too bad. Probably makes it one of the fastest front-wheel drive cars we've had, and it does feel like there could be a little bit more time to come off that car, maybe. But either way, let's go see where it places on our leaderboard. On to the leaderboard then, and the V6 Golf does very well indeed. Goes into 16th place with a 30.959, one of the quickest front-wheel drive cars we've ever had. Beats out the JGTC NSX, Dodge Viper 206 rally car, beats out the Honda Civic VTI, which was one of the previous best front-wheel drive cars we've ever had. Loses out slightly to the R33 V-Spec and the Espas F1. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Hot Lap Classic. If you have cars you'd like to request for the series, you can do so in the comment section and go into the description for a full request list form. Thank you all very much for watching, and until next time, farewell.